My name is Todd Reed. I'm a patrol officer with the Mesa Police Department in Arizona. I've been with the Mesa Police Department just over 20 years, and today is the last day in patrol. Yes, I joined the military in March of '80. I attended basic training in AIT, where you pick up your job at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. From there, I attended jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia. I had a glorious month there. And then I was assigned to the 82nd Airborne at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. There, I attained, numerous awards in schooling. I went to jump master school, recondo school, jungle school, and some other things, and got to do a lot of fun traveling. From there, I was then stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, as an instructor. I spent a year and a half there, and then I always had a desire to get into special forces and join the Green Beret. So I put my packet in and was accepted, went back to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and attended the Special Forces qualification course. That was 6 months long. After I graduated that, I was stationed at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and was assigned to the 10th Special Forces Group. One of the military operations I was directly involved with was Desert Storm back in 1990 and 1991. I had the misfortune in April of '91. I was on a reconnaissance mission, and I was walking down a dirt path in northern Iraq and had the misfortune of stepping on a landmine that ended up blowing my right foot off. And I was eventually flown back to Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., where I went through numerous surgeries. And when I was released from the hospital, I went back up to Fort Devens, Massachusetts. And it took me about a year to get back in shape again and to rehab and, to learn how to do everything a little bit different. And at that point, I had decided to get medically retired. Just prior to that, I always had a desire, if I ever got out of the military, I wanted to work in law enforcement and become a police officer. So in the fall of 1992, I had applied with the Mesa Police Department to become a police officer and was accepted by the city.
Were you concerned that your injury would, bench that career goal?
I always wondered if my foot would have any bearing in me becoming a police officer, because I was different, and I don't think at that point anybody had ever attended the academy at an entry level missing a body part. So I was a little concerned about that, but Mesa Police Department was very supportive.
So now we're going to fast forward to a little over 20 years later, and you've had that career, and you've made the decision to retire. Can you tell us a little bit about your time here at Mesa PD? Any regrets?
No regrets whatsoever. I mean, I'm just very proud to be a police officer with the Mesa Police Department. I've had a wonderful 20-year career. I'm not going to act like there hasn't been ups and downs. Everybody has ups and downs, in their employment and in life itself. But I've had a great time. The city and the police department have been very supportive in so many different ways. During the 20 years, I spent 9 years on patrol as a patrol officer working the street, and then had put in for an undercover position. I worked 4 years undercover narcotics, and then I decided to come back to the street as a patrol officer, and I've been doing that approximately the last 7 to 8 years.
So as you're in fact, today's your last day in uniform, is that correct?
That is correct. It's my last day in uniform.
Well, Todd, you've had a very storied life. I mean, not only did you serve your country in the military, but then you turned around and went right into a career serving your community with Mesa PD. And I know, speaking for myself, having known you for all those years, I'm very proud to have known you. But what is your message to anyone, if there's a young man out there, a young woman out there that's thinking about either joining the military, joining law enforcement, what is your message to them based upon the adversity that you've faced in your life and as they're making decisions about what they're going to do with theirs?
One of the things I would tell people, male, female, no matter what your background is, if you have a desire to do something, don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do it, and don't ever give up. I would just say, even when I lost my foot, I knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to become a police officer, and nothing was going to stop me from that happening. I've had a wonderful career, and I've learned how to, make adjustments and do different things to adapt to, the difference I have from some other people. But it's been a wonderful career, and I would just tell everybody out there, set your goals high and don't ever let anybody tell you can't do something.
Excellent. One thing I want to mention is that you're involved with the Wounded Warrior program. Is that something you're going to continue with?
It's actually the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team.
Thank you.
And I hope to continue with them as much as I can. The places we get to travel around the country, I mean, granted, we get to go to some really fun places, but what makes it worth doing the most is anytime we take a trip anywhere, if people come out to watch us play softball, and due to the fact that everybody on the team is a veteran and is missing a body part, if one person is inspired by what we can do, and it gives them the motivation to, meet and succeed their goals for their future, then it's well worth it. I hope I can continue to do it.